What's up, everybody? It's your boy Liyrex on the mic, and the mic is a little loud, so I'm gonna turn that down. Anyway, today we got um, I got an interesting request from a good friend of mine, Zaphros. He sent me a set in which I am playing, and I thought about doing this, and I watched the set twice, and this will be the third time I'm watching it here with you guys. Um, Gee, what to say about it? So, at first, my rule was going to be don't do in sets that I'm in because I have a hard time. I thought I had a hard time analyzing myself, and that was because honestly I'd never tried. I'm not a big note-taking guy. When it comes to my own play, I do this more to help other people get better, and it doesn't help me. It helps me a little bit, but it doesn't help me as much as I thought it would in terms of dissecting the game. Or maybe it does. I haven't really been to a big tournament since I've been doing this. Anyway, so a few things, and I'm gonna type them in Twitch chat so that people coming in know what I'm doing here. Anyway, a few things about this. One, I'm gonna be referring to myself in third person, and it's gonna sound weird, but that's to distance myself from the play that's happening and to be as objective as possible. So let me just type that here. Oh, I can hear my own voice now. Okay. So there's that out of the way. That's really it. So once again, if you hear that, I might slip up a few times. All my notes are written in third person as well, so that would help. And this is a long, well, it's not a super long set in terms of best of 5, but most of the other sets we've been doing have been best of 3s, and they're usually 2 games. So this one is definitely going to be a while, and I do have to be somewhere within. I got a bi-weekly registration closes at 6, and I gotta bust that there. So we'll see how long we go. It might have to be split up into 2 parts. Luckily, the games are a little shorter. And some of the later games, there's not really much to talk about. I end up reiterating a lot of what I already said in my notes, but we're gonna get right into this. And I'm gonna pull up the Twitch chat. Actually, I'm gonna do that on my phone. Okay. Alright, I can get started now. So I actually just finished typing the notes this morning. It was a really long set, so I started it last night, and there was a lot to talk about in the first 3 games. And so the script was written today, and I plan to record today because it's my day off. Anyway, so Zaki, or I'm probably gonna call him Zaki a lot just because it's shorter than saying Zaphros, and sometimes, well, he never went by that, but we put him in as that before. I'm gonna turn set volume down just a little bit. Anyway, so he wants to go Link a lot. And Zaki and I are a little famous for having really long times in between sets to choose our bands and stuff. So, anyway, I'm going to just pull up my notes here so I can take a look at those. I think I relied a little bit too much on my notes last time. and it kind of... Alright. So, this is the first instance we see of Zaphros' neutral play, and it relies a lot on fireballs when he plays Mario. And fireballs are really, they're good, they're okay. But the problem is, he doesn't mix it up enough here to throw Liyrex off, and like he goes for another one here. He looks like he's about to try and like be reverser or something, and there's no variation. So after two, and Liyrex has already perfect shielded them, he's gonna know. Yeah, he reads the jump there and catches it with Nair, and strings that into an up B. And we're gonna see this a lot from Zaphros when he plays Mario initially. Is that he has a little bit of trouble mixing up his neutral game tools. So here's the other thing I want to talk about. So a lot of this match is pretty fast paced. Just because of the nature of the two characters, they're a little bit more aggressive than what we normally see. So I'm gonna be pausing in really tight instances like this. But so Liyrex hits him with So reads the jump, goes for double edge dance up. So this move has, as most people know, this move has like 3 different variations to it. And the up one is usually used to set up for juggles or landing reads. So Zaphros going for an air dodge here is I'd say a lack of understanding the matchup. And I know Zaphros has played Liyrex quite a lot. I understand that. He knows the Roy matchup. But there are certain instances you can play a character or a person a lot and still miss little things like this that are matchup dependent. And it's the same goes for Marth, right? So just a reminder, double edge dance and dancing blade up is a setup for juggles or landing reads because it does less damage. So if you weren't gonna go for that, then there's no reason to essentially use the up variation. Forward is to, in Roy's case, it can, well, actually in all their cases, it can kill or to send off stage for edge guards, and down is to build damage. So Liyrex goes up here, and Zaphros air dodges after that. So I'm able to get a grab, or Liyrex is able to, oh my god, I'm messing up. I didn't have this much trouble when I was writing the notes. It's a lot different when I'm watching the video though. So Liyrex goes up, reads the air dodge, gets another grab. Able to jab out of the conversion. It's going to happen if you air dodge that close to the ground with Roy. And neutral gets reset here. And here come the fireballs again. So that time it did work out a little bit better for Zaphros. And let me just... Liyrex should be getting in his pummels to build damage a little faster. He also goes for jab nair over on the other side of the stage. Sorry, it's a little late, but I wrote down a lot actually about this interaction. And that's a DI misread. Zaphros isn't gonna DI into Roy from that percent, so jab nair isn't really a good option there, and it drops the combo. And Liyrex should have been able to get more damage off of that, I think. It's also important to start that sort of conditioning early. Zaphros' recognition of neutral game is pretty good. And what he does here is the issue. Alright, so I have an issue with that up smash. So good recognition of neutral. Your fireball stuff actually won the neutral game. This is probably the only instance we'll see of this. Oh, no problem, Zaphros. I don't mind doing this. It was a little off-putting doing myself, and I tried to be as objective as possible. I think I did a pretty good job. Watching this set, actually, I understand completely why you'd want me to cover it, but I'll talk about it when we get to the end of it. So now because he's in the chat, I'm gonna start saying you. But anyway, so Zaphros goes for up smash here, and at this percent, he should realize that Liyrex isn't gonna want to DI down and try and like get out of the up tilt shenanigans, or he's probably gonna DI up looking to get away, and I think up air, like up smash isn't gonna be doing you any favors here. You're not gonna be able to get another one. Liyrex at too high of a percent, and I think up air here because there's no platform for Liyrex to retreat to, right? So if you start up air chains, other than falling U air, there's not much Liyrex can do to get out of them. So being aware of the surroundings and the sort of options you have. Save your up smash. You know, save that because you're gonna need it to kill. You don't want it to stale too much, and in doing so you kind of just drop the combo and Liyrex is able to retreat. However, you do still have opportunities to catch his landings because, like I said, there's no platforms to retreat to at this time on town and city. But right here we're gonna start seeing some habits come out. Okay, so Zaphros and Liyrex both exhibit spot dodging habits, but they're in response to different stimuli. Zaphros likes to spot dodge in response to grounded approaches and grounded pressure. And yeah, sorry, I'm going a little bit too far back because this set's a lot longer, so my clicks aren't like, yeah. So there's just another spot dodge, and then so Liyrex spot dodges here. This is actually okay. I don't mind. This is not what we usually see from his habits, but Liyrex likes to spot dodge in response to whiffs. So like when he whiffs on shield, and in general he'll spot dodge after. Well, Zaphros responds by spot dodging to grounded advances and pressure. Liyrex does go for the roll in read here, and this is the first instance we'll see of this. We'll see Liyrex going for a lot of roll in coverage, even though there's no really indication that Zaphros is going to roll into him. But since it's the first time of the set, I'll let it go. It's okay. I was a little bit more critical in my notes, but like I said, it's a little hard because it's me. And I think it's since it's the first tech chase situation, the only thing I would say to do is maybe not go for something so committal, like go for the roll in, but maybe go for elf tilt instead. I don't know, maybe condition, or take note of the fact that that's like one roll away, because we'll see that a lot, especially as we advance further in the set and Liyrex starts getting antsy when he's down. He'll go for roll in reads a lot and miss. So there's the up tilt up smash again. And he like overshoots an up air there. I had something written down about that. Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of an overextension here, but it's not too bad. That back air, had it not connected, would have landed you really, really dangerously close to Roy. It's also around now where I start realizing, yeah, so there's more spot dodges in response to grounded advances. So that was, we'll actually see that work later, which is kind of ironic. But that was a bad read on Lyrex's part. He didn't apply any real pressure or danger to shield in that scenario. And so that's just kind of, I'd say that's just fishing for F smash, because there was, even though Zaphros was in the corner, Liyrex didn't go in or get close enough to really apply any real danger to Zaphros. So fading back and looking for an F smash read in that situation is not a good option. Luckily, Zaphros does sort of move in, but in a safe enough way where he can actually punish that pretty easily. And I think that's the best hard read punish we'll see out of Zaphros for the remainder of the set. For the most part, Zaphros actually struggles to punish the hard reads, especially as Bayonetta when he switches to her later, but this is okay. So good cornering. Yeah, definitely really good cornering. Liyrex struggles to get back to stage. So another spot dodge in response to a grounded advance. Liyrex likes to punish these with double edge dance, as do a lot of sorties, because I've mentioned before it's one of the best spot dodge punishes. So both players just kind of like trading stage control and looking to corner. Alright, let's talk about that. So that was okay read. I'd say it's more of a misjudgment of Roy's movement in the air. I also Liyrex also is gonna know, since you looked for up smash off of down throw conversions 3 times already, and he's also gonna know that since you aren't trying to follow up with anything and you start moving to the side, that you're gonna be looking for a landing read. He actually does move a little bit to the left, but then sees this and starts to retreat backwards and throws out an up air to cover him. So maybe don't commit so early there. Even if you do get the charge, you don't need that much. You don't need that much charge. Liyrex is already at 104. You've got a bit of rage building. It is town and city. I think that read would have done better if you just kind of walked there, or maybe waited a little bit. See where Lyrex's momentum's gonna carry him, which way he DI'd. So just a little bit too committal.
Definitely want that kill. Really hungry. You see him down smash.
Also, I will release some notes later. I wrote a lot for this set, and there's some things I'm not touching on because I'll be honest, so every episode I've done, the caliber of play has gotten a little bit better, I think. And I wrote a lot down, but I obviously don't have time to cover it all. I am on a time restraint. I think I'm doing a pretty good job covering. I'm not glancing over a lot of things, but oftentimes I have to write paragraphs for these interactions because they're a little bit more complicated. So I will release my notes after this. So good cornering game from Zaphros. I actually didn't really notice that the second time and first time I watched the set. That was really good spacing on shield, and here's another spot dodge in response to grounded approaches. It's going to get caught out. Okay, no, I remember this interaction. So it doesn't get caught out by the double edge dance, but Zaphros does end up losing this interaction, and I want to take a look at why. Alright. So this is where Zaphros' Mario struggles in the matchup. Zaphros, so we've already seen his tendency to spot dodge upon grounded approaches. If that doesn't work, what he tends to do is he tends to stay in shield and then look for shield grabs. And this is gonna be the bane of his Mario for the rest of the set. He goes Mario for 2 games, and for the most part, his Mario struggles with having his shield. How do I say this? There's a lot of shield grabbing, and even though Roy likes to get in close, Roy has to exploit Mario's stubby little arms in this matchup, his lack of range options. Liyrex is able to space towards the middle hits of his hitboxes at a range where Zaphros still can't shield grab him. And this interaction, we see that kind of come to fruition, where Zaphros thinks he can get a shield grab off even though he's in shield. And Liyrex just does a perfect pivot, and that F smash is going to hurt quite a lot. So those two habits are what, because Zaphros doesn't win a game with his Mario. So those are the two habits that hold his Mario back the most, in my opinion. So don't air dodge after down throw. Good abuse of your frame data there to get out of that. I think that's how Mario wins this matchup, through the use of his frame data. Okay, let's talk about that. So if you didn't see, I'll go back a little bit. Okay. This is not good, alright? I don't know why players, including myself, obviously like to do this, but they'll see a hard read and they'll go up and shield in it. Okay? You're just taking unnecessary shield damage. Like, if you see that, which obviously he did, there's no reason to go in and get hit by it, even if it's on shield. Just wait. I know F Smash has deceptive range and it's large, but you definitely can punish it. You can definitely just be patient. Mario doesn't have any like super baity crazy stuff like ZSS's frame 1 jab or frame 3 up tilt that can like rescue him from this as Roy with your ground speed and air mobility. Just be a little bit more patient, you know, because now you're taking shield damage, you're taking pushback, and you're losing a stock because you didn't expect a cross up there. Yeah, so lots of spot dodges. It worked out for Zaphros because Liyrex likes the spot dodge too. So just a good recognition and smash sense of the situation there. I think that's what Zaphros allowed Zaphros to get that kill.
The FB once he was up.
And now we'll see the fireball neutral come back. Zaphros does mix it up a little bit there, but then ends up going back to the fireballs.
Smash is a very good tool to just punish something that's not quite safe and kind of like space out in a sense. But you kind of don't. It covers.
And there it is. So we're gonna see this happen a lot. Nair beats fireballs. All right. That was a little bit better. You did like go back to the ground and try and throw out a few moves, but ultimately, if you're making those short hops and you're too close into Roy, he's gonna catch you out of them.
Area, while making your head invulnerable or super. I can't remember what.
All right. That was actually like. So this happens again later in the set, but Zaphros is really good at covering underneath him. And he sees Liyrex hit an up air on shield, and he knows he's gonna want to go for another one to apply more pressure. So he takes that time to retreat from the platform, and back air him as he's coming up. And it's really hard to beat out Roy's up air. And we'll see this happen again on Lilat in game 3, and I think it's a really good.
Who just lands in front of without getting a top.
Yeah, wow, spot dodges. So Zaphros good at covering pressure underneath him. That's all I wanted to say. Neutral comes back. Here come the fireballs. And so I actually get baited, or Liyrex actually gets baited into that one. Even though that kind of worked, I'd say it's more of an error on Lyrex's part than Zaphros sort of winning neutral. Like, you don't approach with short hop nair on shield. You have to cross up. But unfortunately, there's the up smash that comes again and allows Liyrex to land and escape for free. Zaphros gets baited there by the double jump. Here come the fireballs.
Nice reverse B. A rolled up smash is pretty good on a lot of characters. Attack. Ooh, nice cape. Sadly, since he was in the air, there was no way to run up and punish.
So that was. I don't think I actually wrote this down, but in response to a down smash there, Zaphros took. So this actually isn't as bad as it looks, because instead of going for a hard punish, Zaphros instead says, I want to get out of the corner and take some more. Who all is watching? Hey, Kennedy. He takes the time to instead kind of regain his stage control. I don't think that's so bad of an option. But against a player like Liyrex, whose style is sort of to corner you, I think you actually do want to challenge him there and not let him know that smash attacks when you're in the corner will get him punished. I think that gets more in his head. But it's not a bad option. I didn't actually notice that, so I wanted to point it out. I'm just gonna touch upon some things I glanced over. Zaphros, if you take away one thing from this, don't air dodge after down throw. Just never do it. Frantic spot dodges. So good cross ups. Yeah, I didn't actually have that written down. Okay. I think Ash Attack would have caught Liyrex in this sort of situation. Fireball neutral again. Okay. So that time it worked. And I want to call it looks like it's like lucky, and that hitbox is kind of just stupid. But I don't. All right, I'm gonna break character for a second here. I actually don't. So looking at this, it looks like I didn't read the full hop. All right, even though it had happened earlier before, that was more of an instinctive kind of punish. I'm breaking character just to say that I actually didn't read that full hop. That was just a lucky hit. But that's even still. That is the second instance that you've taken that sort of time to full hop and kind of just drift slightly over Liyrex, and as a result you kind of died, and it was unfortunate. The hitbox is really actually goes quite a bit above Roy, but I wouldn't say that's what lost you the game. I think so I wrote down for the summary of this matchup. I'm going to read the summary verbatim. And another thing to keep in mind, the fireballs just weren't working. Liyrex was finding ways to cancel them out with Nair. They worked once or twice, but then the follow-ups weren't. There were more up smashes, grounded up smashes, not a lot of forcing bad landing options from Liyrex, forcing him to land with U-Air, forcing him to oh, did I scroll down too much? Yeah, I did. There was never really a time that Liyrex looked threatened, and it was more each player getting kills off of like swanky spot dodge, mind read stuff. Oh, okay. There was one thing I want to scroll back a little bit to point out at 408. Just another instance of your other main habit, Zaphros. Okay, there it is. So this is a one-frame punish, actually. But the point is, there's a shield and a spot dodge, or not a spot dodge, but a shield and a shield grab. And of course I whiff, so I spot dodge, or Liyrex whiffs, so he spot dodges. And this is just a moment I think that sums up both of these players. Unfortunately, missing a shield grab I think is a lot worse of a habit to have than spot dodging after a whiff. But they're still habits nonetheless, and unlike Zaphros, Liyrex actually doesn't do a good job of adapting and minimizing them. Zaphros is able to sort of beat out a lot of his habits, or have them beaten out of him by losing neutral interactions. And by the end of the set, we'll actually see that he's minimized a lot of the habits he has right now, but he's picked up one or two new ones that cost him the set that are really bad. But we do see less shield grabs come from him later on. Yeah. That also killed at 55. So I'm going to take a minute to read the summary I had for this match. So, Zaphros and Liyrex both have bad spot dodge habits that the other, to an extent, is able to capitalize on. While Liyrex spot dodges in response to whiffs, Zaphros spot dodges in response to grounded approaches, and over-relies on his shield and shield grab when he feels cornered or threatened. What wins Liyrex the game, however, is ability to consistently win neutral. Zaphros does not adapt quickly enough to Liyrex simply beating out his fireballs with his aerials, and is often called out for using them and gets hit. Zaphros' over-reliance on one tool in neutral and stubbornness not to change it results in more situations where he is cornered, and a lucky hard read from Liyrex seals away his second stock while Zaphros is in the corner. Okay. So, that's game one.
Very good game, very close. Attrition break in the middle of the game. That's more with the Lilac band because
So, Liyrex switches to Corrin.
Corrin, on the other hand, cannot stand Lilac and can counter. We're also going to see
Okay. So this changes the matchup dynamics quite a bit.
switch to Bayo.
One thing I've noticed about this match, so Zaphros plays Bayonetta for 3 games. Liyrex plays Corrin for 1. Both players in this particular game have a little bit of trouble. You can see their mains coming out in a lot of their play styles, and that's not necessarily conducive to their secondaries. Like, you see Liyrex land with up airs that's not really a Corrin thing, that's a Roy thing. You see Zaphros go for a lot of up smashes, which obviously is a Mario thing. And in the end, Zaphros is able to, I think Zaphros does the transition better. And YouTube's lagging a little bit. Hold on just a second, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. What's up, Nito? Also, quick shameless plug. We do have a new donation incentive. I am trying to make it to SmashCon again this year. That's all I'll say about that, though. I'll give this video a little bit more time to load. Alright, that looks good. And the quality's pretty bad. So we're gonna wait a little longer. Alright, that's fine. So first, misspacing error from Liyrex. We'll see these a lot with this Corrin. Just you can't make close range spacing errors like that, and you can't force things on shield, especially against a character like Bayonetta. And we're gonna see Liyrex do a lot of that with Corrin. It's gonna get him punished pretty hard, like there. And this is the first instance we see of an aerial overextension. Zaphros is actually really good at catching these. Most of the kills he gets on Liyrex are in fact due to witch time. In almost every single first stock, every single first stock kill. Actually, no, this isn't a kill, but he gets 2 first stock kills as a result to Liyrex overextending with his aerials, and he gets witch timed. I don't know what the commentator says about this. Those are just bad side B flubs. I really wouldn't say anything else about that. I do keep track of the get up options. The get up option that Liyrex does the most in terms of the set is actually he get up attacks 5 times. I stopped counting towards the end, like in the 5th game, because there's just a lot of ledge play, and Bayonetta can recover or get up from ledge pretty easily with some of her hitboxes. But Zaphros, his most utilized get up from ledge option is fade back fair with Bayonetta. I didn't really count his ones with Mario because the fade back fairs overshadowed them. But so another spacing error. This is the first instance we see of Liyrex forcing an offensive situation. He goes for side B and actually goes forward on shield. Bayonetta can punish that. Obviously, she's got her own side B that's pretty good at doing that. Lyrex's Corrin doesn't do well in the matchup and in this game, particularly because of his tendency to force those sort of situations where if Zaphros drops shield, maybe I got something going here, but he doesn't judge the risk reward very well. So that was really good shield pressure actually. But he gave Liyrex enough time in order to a short hop down air, which actually is pretty deceptively big in terms of its hitbox. Let me just see if I glanced over anything. Oh, there was so there's an instance coming up where Liyrex does exhibit a spacing error that like is akin to a Roy sort of thing. Yeah, right there. So Liyrex definitely doesn't need to be that close in order to hit with his fair on the platform there. Like, look how close that is. Corrin can be over here even, and this is where we start to see his Roy kind of come in, and it forces him to make a lot of errors that he shouldn't be making while he's playing Corrin. This would be the proper spacing for a Roy fair, but not a Corrin one. And he goes actually to land with an up air there. It comes out a little bit. There's another instance where he forced side B forward. And that was another, like, look at that. That's a classic Roy Nair trying to catch a tech in place. So he's certainly not adapting well to playing this character. He hasn't really gotten with the shifting dynamic of the matchup. He's still playing Roy in terms of his spacing game and very much his punish game. His neutral game relies around a lot of looking for flubs in the form of Bayonetta's gameplay, but that's kind of hard to do. And when he thinks he sees them, he forces an offensive option that necessarily isn't there. As a result, he's getting grabbed a lot. I thought that was a jab block. It was not.
I guess interesting.
Okay. So here's this. Where this is gonna lose Zaphros the set. Right, this instance right here. Zaphros, okay, so Zaphros mains Mario. He does not main Bayonetta. Zaphros utilizes I'm going to say it plainly. Zaphros utilizes Bayonetta smash attacks too often. And it's really, really detrimental to him because oftentimes there's another option that would have worked better. I'm not a Bayonetta player myself, but I can tell you I've played some good ones. I don't know how. I know forward smash isn't necessarily like the right option there for a hard punish, but we'll see that a lot where Zaphros like sees an opening and goes for a smash attack, and it's not really the best option. Whereas you probably could have got another grab there. Back air too. I think back air might have killed. I'm not entirely sure. Probably rising nair. There's a lot to be said. Bayonetta smash attacks are very slow, and I think the only really good use they have to them is obviously down smash at ledge and during when you're being witch timed. Zaphros doesn't hit a single Bayonetta smash attack that isn't witch timed in the entire set. I'm just going to point that out. So whether or not it's an okay option, it's plainly put, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work in this instance against this particular player. And it gets him punished pretty hard every time he does, too. That was really good landing. I usually am not a big advocate for landing on stage using your double jump with a move. But Bayonetta's hitboxes are so robust that they just beat out Corrin F smash. So, well done. So Liyrex needs to go for more grounded edge guards. I'm actually not looking at my notes a lot. This is going much better than I thought. He needs to do more grounded edge guards there. Zaphros hasn't shown a tendency to jump from the ledge, and when he does, he usually like fades back and does another move. But we haven't seen that yet. And Liyrex is going for a lot of like jump reads, like with back air, and back air will kill there, and I think that's why he goes for it. But we don't see Liyrex utilize charging F smash at ledge or away from ledge once in the set. And that's an option he has to take more advantage of. And there's another force of the offensive option. Zaphros he punishes the follow-up, and that's really just more bad play on Lyrex's part in his Corrin. So you are already overextended, and Zaphros, he's playing conservatively, which I think isn't such a bad. I mean, he's up 60 or so %, but both players are at kill %. Maybe a grab there, but so what does Liyrex do? He overextends again. He like F smashes on his shield, and Zaphros doesn't get the best punish, but he does execute the edge guard here, and seals the stock away. I can't believe that wasn't a tipper, but it is what it is. So Liyrex does fade back there. That's the one instance he actually does sort of back off when he needs to. Let me see if I had anything written down for this little segment. Oh, okay. Yeah, nothing. I just said good adaptation. Recognizing like you spaced pretty poorly. All right. So I want to talk about that kill a little bit. We're gonna have to go back to it. All right. So you're here, right? You got a few hits in. I'm at 45. You're still on your first stock. That's pretty good. But you don't need to. Yeah, after Liyrex double jumps away, there's no need to like. I think the forward tilt was already out, but in that sort of position, you want to take the time to get off that platform, and look for another landing option from Liyrex, because we've seen Lyrex's tendency to land with up air. Up air is going to beat out any hitbox you throw out in that sort of situation. Or trade with it, and trading with it obviously is bad too because it's going to kill you. And I would have just taken the time, to relax a little bit, analyze where you are in terms of the set. You're up a stock. You've got a good lead building, and you don't need that extra 10% that comes from forward tilt.
Taking it. Liyrex down 45%. This is definitely a lead for Zaphros, but not something that Liyrex can't bring this back from. I've seen him bring it back from far worse.
There's another force and a miss and an error. So once again, the spacing was okay, but it was just a little too close in. I think that's why Liyrex didn't capitalize it off of it better. He does actually side B out though for the first time in the set, but it's a little too late. Like you can't decide to stop forcing offensive options now when you're at that sort of percent. And there's another aerial overextension. We will see those quite a bit. Yo, what's up, AFW? Shout out to my boy. Oh man, dude, you are. I'm gonna talk to you in the middle of this. You are by far the biggest, motivation. I see you streaming 24 viewers a night, and I definitely am into that. Once again, thank you for the overlay. If for those of you who don't know, AFW did create this overlay for me. He is a good friend, a former teammate. Yeah, it's been a long time. Hello to all the viewers in the chat right now that I am not familiar with. Sorry, I haven't been saying hi to you guys as you come in. So Zaphros is going to make the switch back to Mario here. And the pick is going to be Lilat. Zaphros and Liyrex both like this stage. So already we're seeing the tendency to go back to the fireballs. It works out for Zaphros in this case, but I want to talk about that. Zaphros, Zaki. You got me on the ropes here, my boy. Alright? So, in this instance, nobody in their right mind is going to do anything but hold that shield button. Because I know that, Mario's forward air doesn't always send you an attacking situation. But I'm preparing for attack on this platform. Alright? Everybody is going to do. There's not a player in the world, I think, who's going to, not hold the R button, at least at some point. And this is the difference between I think the top caliber Marios in the world and mid-level Marios, all right? The next step is anticipating this shield. Thanks for the follow, AFW. And are my alerts up right now? They better be. I've been having a few issues with my alerts. That's why I'm double checking that. Hopefully they come up. But the next step is realizing that, and because if you grab me again there, oh boy, I'm in big trouble. Am I dropping frames here? Yeah, I'm lagging a little bit. Hold on. Oh, geez, what happened? Let's close some of this stuff out. There we go. So that worked. We good now? Yeah, we're good now. It looks like we're... I'm just gonna wait for this. I don't know why I'm experiencing some LAN issues. I'm gonna close out my other browser though. Huh. Let me see if I can look for some stuff to close here. I don't know if it's actually lagging, but it's I have stream pulled up on my phone, and it was there. So I'm just gonna close one or two things out, and we'll get back into this. Latency looks good now. I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, so like I said, next option there, because if you grab me there, like wow, I am. Zaphros is going in right now, or Liyrex is like, oh no, Zaphros is going in right now. He's struggling. You've already gotten in his head at that point. I think if you have that sort of grab and that sort of situation. But kudos on the up smash. It wasn't that bad of an option. And wow. So this is, I'm gonna say it, even though I'm gonna break character. This is what I do best, honestly. Not to like sound conceited or whatever, but most Roys won't be here in this particular instance, I don't think. I catch Zaphros's double jump. Zaphros, it's so hard. The only thing I could tell you here is like recognize that I'm probably gonna have to retreat to that ledge quicker. I fall faster. I've already burned a double jump getting out here. You don't need to like reapproach. You don't need to get back in my face. Just chill out a little bit. You've got time. I've got less time than you do. But it happens, especially against Liyrex and the way his Roy is. Most Roys don't go for that sort of edge guard.
Delicious cup noodles. And that takes it. Wow, and the taunt. Okay, you deserve to lose it.
Just gonna double make sure we're okay again. Are we good? Are we good in chat? Like, I don't know. I saw lag on my end, but it might have just been my phone. Alright, never mind. We're good.
This match now, Liyrex.
So once again, another good instance of Zaphros covering pressure beneath him. The same sort of option we saw.
Move that Zaphros does not use a lot is on stage cape.
And here come the fireballs again. And Zaphros expects a cross up there like we saw last time where Lyrex's Nair approach actually didn't work out for him. Liyrex did correctly space the Nair though, so Zaphros' back was turned to him and Zaphros dropped shield. And we're gonna see some more of this of Zaphros, he's kinda turtles a bit. He's down by quite a bit of margin. He got edge guarded pretty early there. And we're gonna see him sort of fall into his old habits. Don't double jump to get back in the stage, unless you're Bayonetta.
Yeah. Dunkaroo boys.
So there it is again. Actually, the shield grab I think was about to come out. That shield grab works. And I do get edge guarded. Zaphros does edge guard me pretty effectively. That was one of his strengths. And I do so there's the other instance of, remember, so I talked about earlier, I run in and just take like a fully charged F smash to my shield for no reason. Zaphros does it here where he just takes a fully charged F smash to his shield. There's no reason to do this. Just back off. Wait for me to do my thing. I'll charge it all the way usually. Or wait for Liyrex to do his thing. He'll charge it all the way usually, and then like go in, get a grab. He's at 0. You're Mario. That's what you do best. There's no reason to take that sort of shield damage though, and that pushback. That's why you can't get the grab afterwards. Not the best option from Liyrex there. And back to neutral. And that was just unfortunate on Zaphros' part. So I think this is what Zaphros needs to do more of. Not look for up smash always after the 2 up tilts. Go for the follow up. This is why I think Lila is Roy's best stage. Is the height of those platforms makes it easier for Roy to escape from certain things like this and throw out that up air. That up air barely clips Zaphros, but it puts him into a really, really bad situation here. And you air dodge after down throw, you're gonna get hit. There was a shield grab there, which traded with Zaphros. So we've seen that instance about 3 times now, and it usually gets Zaphros thrown off the ledge and in a pretty dangerous situation. And I think that's attributed to the way in which Zaphros was killed. You know, he was killed pretty early. This is a 5-game set, but he's thinking, oh no, Mario's not doing too well. I'm down a lot pretty early, and he resorts back to his old habits, and he turtles a little bit. And I'm not sure what the motivation behind that option was. Fade back. Mario doesn't have the best fade back options from ledge, especially against a sword character who has the range on most of his anti-airs and ledge coverage options to sort of like just hit him. So yeah, the up air there is pretty much just or not up air, but up tilt. So just gonna take a minute to read the summary I have for that game. So. Oh, I didn't read the summary for game 2. Okay, so here's the game 2 summary. Liyrex plays first stock quite mediocrely, and he does not space his aerials well on shield and tries too hard to force offensive situations, which leads to him getting punished and then forced into an edgeguard situation. While Zaphros has some troubles misjudging the advantage state moments and the risk-reward balance in them, it does not constitute enough air for Liyrex to effectively capitalize on, and he loses the war of attrition to Bayo in which time. No, Liyrex did not grab Zaphros a single time in game 2. Obviously, that's why we see the switch back to Roy. So that was the game 2 summary. Completely glanced over that because I was looking at my stream and seeing if we had any issues there. See my duper. Oh, children behave in my chat. Yo, Zaphros, she's a mod too. She'll whoop your butt. Summary of game 3. While Zaphros opens up showing signs of improved neutral, so Zaphros doesn't go for the fireballs all the time. He does do a little bit more variation on them. He does land and throw out some moves. I didn't point that out. I had that written down. Anyway, so while he does show signs of improved neutral and some heavy punishes early on, Liyrex catches him in an early gimp to a panic double jump. After this, Zaphros retreats into some of his old habits we saw in Game 1, where he over-relies on his shield grab and plays in a way that Liyrex is comfortable dealing with. By the time he's able to execute a good edge guard on Liyrex, he has already sustained too much damage to seal out the game. It's basically what it came down to, is that early lead got in Zaphros' head a little bit. Getting edge guarded by Roy is never... I can't imagine what people go through people's head, like when I do that sort of thing. So I can't really speak to the mental game there, but breaking character again. For me, that's what it felt like, because I do remember that game in particular. Alright, so on to game 4 now. We're actually going through this pretty quick. I definitely am going to release the notes. There's a lot of spelling errors in them, but I don't like to make these videos longer than like an hour and a half or so, because I feel like I am reiterating everything, and talking for this long is a little difficult. Maybe if I did like a super like bracket reset grand finals one, I'd go for more than an hour and a half or 2 hours. So here's the pseudo link switch. No link though. Yeah, here's Bayo. Alright. So, disclaimer about these last 2 games, they're really hard for me to watch. Mostly because I think the player who played better lost both of them. I think I played better in game 4 and then lost, and then I think Zaphros definitely outplayed me in game 5 and then ended up losing. So Zaphros does lose the set. Spoiler alert. In 5 games. But there's one thing. There's the moment where...
Yeah, we're seeing Bayo anyways.
the moment where he loses the set comes here, and it actually isn't a game he wins, I think.
Going about it
So good. So here it is.
field.
This, Zaphros, is the moment you lose the set. Okay, and I'm going to explain why in a second. You just won neutral over in center stage, right? Down tilt. And you started like doing some cool stuff. I know Bayo can follow up out of down tilt at low percents, right? You're not Mario though anymore. You know, up smash really sucks in neutral as Bayonetta. In fact, I'm gonna punish you for this before the animation's even finished, and I didn't perfect shield it either. You're not using the right tools for the job in the right instances as her. Your punish game is, it's not, at kill percent, your punish game is non-threatening. You execute some good punishes to rack up damage, but you're going to see I live to 198% this stock. And then in the next game, I'm at 165 when I win. And you're at like 70 or something. Up smash. So what is up smash going to do for you in this situation, right? Even if it hits, I'm at like 30%. You've dropped a combo in which I could have taken upwards of 60 because of my fall speed and your combo ability. And you've stalled up smash for when you do get a witch time later. I'm able to punish you out of that. Luckily, you abuse your frame data, which is what you should do in the matchup. But I'm able to punish you out of that before you even lose the matchup. Or not lose the matchup, but you know what I mean. So this is I think a little bit better. You know, that's what I like to see from you.
So Zaphros in quite yeah.
And we're gonna see a lot more smash attacks come out from Zaphros. And I'm gonna remind you that little stat I had. Not one of them hits unless I'm in witch time, and all of them get hard punished. So I'm already at 136. That was a good weight from Liyrex to bait out the witch time. And there's the first fair from ledge. We're gonna see Liyrex is gonna get hit by those quite a bit. This. So you committed to another smash attack. Zaphros buffer up airs or jump cancel up smashes. Oh, well, this isn't an up smash, though, friend. So this is where once again, this is really this one mistake, this one habitual pattern you have loses you the set. And it loses you the stock right here, because that's how you die later, and we'll see that. But down smash at ledge, you know, you're committing really hard. I think down smash at ledge is the only smash attack by Bayo that should ever be used in neutral, and that's just to cover like if I wait on ledge too long. But Liyrex hasn't shown any signs of like pausing at the ledge or showing any different ledge tendencies. Like, yeah, my invincibility is there, but I'm already buffering a roll. Right, so you could. I think down till it's beneath the ledge. I closed my spreadsheets, my frame data spreadsheets, because I wanted the stream to run a little bit quicker. But this, you have better options in your kit. You just do. And this shouldn't happen. You won neutral. I won neutral about one time, maybe twice. And this is what I was talking about before, and I really do think I outplayed you this game, but I lose, and I think you outplayed me a lot in game 5. But your punish game here is non-threatening because you don't spam back air. It really is what it is, and here, like, once again, the mental game starts to set in, I think, on you, and you start taking chip damage here, and I just won't die. And so, obviously, I do still resort to my old habits of overextending in the air. Zaphros is really good at covering pressure beneath him, but I'm at 198 when I die. So I do write a lot down about this, though, and I haven't been referring to my notes too much. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. Last time I recorded, I was really tired, so I referred to my notes a lot. Um, I do make a few mistakes coming up. Obviously, I have to win the game, or I have to lose the game. But nothing yet. That was a little too early. Okay. Here, you might be Bayonetta, but that doesn't mean you can recover for free. I'm actually pretty bad at covering Bayonetta's getting back to stage options. Is one of the instances I actually do cover it pretty well. I'm talking in first person again. Oops. But Liyrex doesn't really cover. We'll see later on in game 5. He has a lot of trouble keeping Bayonetta from getting back to stage. He gets hit by a lot of things such as like fade back fair from ledge, side B on the stage. But keep in mind, you still don't exactly have like a free recovery. That was a really nice cross up, but it wasn't really necessary considering their percents. And this is what loses the game for me. That, you know why? Liyrex is overconfident, and I know that because I am him, and I can say that. I know there's no reason for up smash here. Like you're on the top of the tri platforms. You didn't tech, and there's just a little bit of overconfidence here, and all of a sudden Liyrex is getting comboed again, right? And here it is, right? The whiff, get up attack. That was Lyrex's most used get up option. Not too much so, and I think he varies them enough in the time instances that he does them that it's not necessarily readable. But the fact that the get up attack whiffs, and we see a spot dodge here, Zaphros notices. And watch what happens. Zaphros executes a perfect edge guard. Perfect edge guard on Roy, and that's it. Sometimes instances like this happen. So here's my summary. I'm going to read a few of the notes I wrote beforehand that lead up to that moment, though. I talked about the cross up. I think it was a nice cross up, pretty stylish, but it was really committal and didn't really need to happen considering the percents. The overconfidence from a charge up smash, like whatever. I could have gotten witch time, to be honest, if he had drifted in. There's just really, really bad. And Zaphros capitalizes on Lyrex's one habit, and that's all that takes with Bayo. All it takes. But once again, I'm not really at kill percent here. Like, yeah, I'm at 38 when I'm on the ledge right here. So Zaphros is more threatening with his Bayonetta at like mid-range percents, and it's really weird to see. I felt Liyrex looks safer when he's at kill percent with that rage building, because it gets crazy. And this game is really bad and sad for me to watch, but it is what it is. And we're actually making pretty damn good time. I'm sorry if I feels like I'm flying through this. There's a lot of like meticulous little stuff. This pause frame is heart-wrenching to watch. So I lose neutral quite a bit. There's the up smash. That was like a really Mario-esque thing, I think. Just the height it was. But Zaphros did say in chat earlier that it could have been a jump cancel up air. I don't think you have to throw him out that fast. The only character I do that with a lot by accident is Fox. I'm not really sure, but if it is like a motor skills mistake, just work on getting rid of it. But if not, like you got punished again. Like, all right, so you've won neutral twice already, and we're at the same exact practically at the same exact percents, and that's really a problem with if you're Bayonetta and I'm Roy. I should be if I've lost neutral twice, I should be about 100, and yeah, I'm going to read the summary for Game 4. I keep forgetting because I go to read chat. This game teeter-totters. Zaphros opens up by winning neutral against Liyrex and comboing him very effectively, getting him to kill percent. Liyrex wins through a few interactions, but the nature of his character doesn't allow him to rack up as much percent through these interactions. As a result, even though both win neutral just as often, Liyrex sits around 150 and Zaphros 665. Zaphros overcommits with a smash attack and pays the price. This is the only major error we see from Zaphros in the first stock. Overcommitting and once again failure to misjudge risk-reward ratio in the advantage state as Bayonetta. That was worded weird, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. Liyrex applies ample pressure to Zaphros and manages to live until 200. Zaphros capitalizes on Lyrex's grounded habit near the ledge despite Liyrex carrying momentum from this moment and executes a perfect edge guard on Roy. Lyrex's overconfidence in his second stock effectively sets up the scenario in which he could be edge guarded. That's really it. I didn't miss much. That was really excellent option coverage. I think that's one of the only good plays I make in this game. Those were really both really bad landing options from both players, but Zaphros just lands a little later, so he gets punished. So Lyrex's inability to punish that recovery costs him quite a bit in this game.
Yeah, they're very similar. It's just that one can kill you instantly. The other does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, see there it is again, getting hit by that.
But they both have extra frantic because of bad defense.
Not true.
You know, just make it so if you mess up your timing.
And Liyrex is going to be ready for that edge guard again. You know, he's going to remember that from last game, so you got to mix that up a little bit more there. I don't know. With what, it's up to you. I think Bayonetta has a lot of good options to, you know, deal with at the ledge. Your Witch Twist is such a huge hitbox. But yet again, Liyrex overextends on one of his aerials and loses first stock. So this is where Lyrex's gameplay starts to break apart.
But now we're gonna if we can see an F smash come out, then we can see this coming up right now.
So there's an F smash right there. Zaphros isn't even on ledge. There's another one. And this is what I'm talking about when I say you aren't that threatening. Well, I'm not at kill percent here, but the punishes aren't what they should be. Forward throw is gonna do 10% to me. When you've got a free punish, you can execute whatever move you want on me in that situation. You didn't run in and hold shield like we've seen both of us do earlier. You can rack up a lot more damage, I think. Like I said, I don't play Bayo, so I don't know exactly how or what the proper progression is, but I feel like I should take more damage from that. Spot dodge does a whiff.
It's a very good strategy.
I could not see what he did because the hits canceled.
I believe that was an up.
And here's another overcommittal option by me. I actually don't like this. Well, Liyrex gets really lucky that Zaphros drops shield in this instance, and I think that's just misjudgment. It happens to everybody once in a while, right? But once again, it's another really overcommittal option. And if Zaphros doesn't drop shield, I'm right above him on the second on one of the platforms of Battlefield. Like, it kills because Zaphros isn't expecting it, kind of DIs bad, but I'm back in this game now. How did this happen? You've won neutral about 3 different times. I haven't won neutral at all since you've killed me. But now I'm that's what I like to see more of is every small mistake I make I should be getting hit by like those hits. And for the most part I do. There's another smash attack that comes out. There's another one. And here's where I start like really fishing for roll-in reads.
But I mean, Liyrex is the type of player where if he's not kicking your butt, he's playing very defensively, has his shield up, is ready to dodge at a moment's notice.
Once again, the same edge guard. I'm gonna be ready for that one. Hi, Rocky. My dog decided to come say hi. Let me just take a look at the chat. Okay. Yeah, there's a bit of lag on the actual VOD here.
This is a very, very close match.
And that's like the one time I get hit by a back air the entire set, and that's gotta happen more. And I go for another roll-in read, which is just bad because you haven't shown any tendencies to roll in.
Situation. He read the witch time, which was very good. Had that witch time landed, that would have been game guaranteed.
And inability to cover that return to stage option.
Regrab.
Zaphros is getting a little antsy here. I've seen a lot of witch times come out. I didn't really notice that before, that he was actually getting a little bit nervous.
Doesn't matter.
But here I take some more percent, and there's just the neutral play is there's just not really like a lot of threatening stuff here. The only thing I'm really afraid of is a grab at this percent. There's no like fading back and like spacing with those back airs.
At this point, I believe
A grab will kill.
Yep.
Depending on where it is. Cross stage plus one.
And here's the moment. Zaphros, I tried my darndest. That was my last resort, right? If that didn't hit, that's it. I said at this point, I'm breaking character here because why not? It's like we got 12 seconds left or whatever. That's my last resort, right? That's game right there. You grabs a few pummels maybe, a back air. You know, just I'm done. All right. Your shield's not breaking. Down smash is the punish. So it's perfect shielded too.
oh, that shield.
And that's game.
Oh, that's it. That was
Just being able to get the shield up.
that was so close. Liyrex taking game 5. Oh my, that was way too close. How do you?
All right. Any other punish, really. That's why you're Mario main. I get that. Right? You're not gonna play. I remember this. What? Hold on. I don't know if it's nerves or whatever. Maybe just because I'm gonna break character now because we're done. Maybe just play me too much. A lot of people fear that F smash, especially when it hits their shield. But I would say it's nerves, but that's not the first time. Whether it be jump cancel or not, it happens still, and it's a motor issue. That one was down smash, so I know that wasn't like anything else. At kill percents, you watch just watch other Bayos in the matchup. Watch the back air spam is infuriating when it's done right. And there's a reason that's spammed is because the other options just aren't as good. I'll read the summary and I'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of both of us. And really that's what the set comes down to. There's no reason your Bayonetta should have lost that game 5. Other than the fact that the wrong tool, you didn't pull the right tools out of your toolbox at the right times. You know, forward throw as a punish without any pummels when I'm at 0%, or, you know, down smash when I'm at center stage after one of my smash attacks. When I'm at 178, like, I'm not sure forward throw would kill there, but I mean, rising nair probably would have. You know, and you can edge guard me. Like, the only thing, like, Roy kills early. I get that. But only with one move. And I've already thrown it out. I can't do it again in that time span. Even if you do something else and I like trade with a forward tilt, you're still alive. You can get me back to ledge. And the fact is, I already had thrown out that move 4 or 5 times. That was awful. That was awful play. And it's not to detriment you. It's not. I'm not saying that I played bad, but whatever. It's just that I really think so here's my honest opinion, because it is a match I played in. That should have been a 4-game set from me. The fact that I let it go to 5 games, though, I think if we put aside the fact that I was overconfident in game 4 and got edge guarded really well, then you should have definitely won game 5. Normally I don't put in my personal opinion like that, but since it is a game I was president, I feel like I deserve to. I have a lot written down. I have over 12 pages of notes on, or I have, 12 pages of notes on the set. A lot of it is really meticulous sort of things I notice. I did touch upon a lot of them. I'm going to read the summary, though. So once again, the player who plays better has come out with a loss in this game. I really don't know what to make this game. Zaphros plays well and outplays Liyrex every single element except for his kill percent punishes. This allows Liyrex to be able to throw his smash attacks himself at max rage percents while going unpunished. Zaphros is not utilizing Bayo's back air or other means of killing well enough. His inability to adapt and recognize that he hasn't hit a non-witch timed Bayo smash attack in the entire set loses him the game. All in all, some of the worst play from Liyrex we saw all set. Obviously, he is losing the mental game here, and when he gets overconfident in a second stock play, this should not have needed a game 5, and the wrong individual won it. So I'm pretty critical of myself there. I understand now why you wanted this set out of all of them to be looked at. That and it actually is. I didn't realize this until the second time I watched it, but it is the most recent we've played, which I think is interesting. And so it depends. So sometimes I 3-0, sometimes it's game 5. Who knows? It depends. It depends a lot. But in the sense of the fact that it's not, I tried to speak about the set in the sense that it was a Roy versus a Bayonetta, and it wasn't myself versus Zaphros. The only instance where that kind of became hard was in that one Edgeguard and Lilac, because I know no other Roy in the world would probably go for that. But anyways, so Zaphros' top 3 weaknesses. Number 1, over-reliance on shield grab when being pressured. Mario's your main dude. Alright, this one mistake kind of forced you off of him, and for better or for worse, you know, it's a 3-2. The numbers only show the results. They don't show like who outplayed who. And you got forced off your main, I think, as a result of that habit. Which you don't do with Bayo. You do it like once or twice, but it's nothing too noticeable. Number 2, inability to judge risk-reward balance of punish options in advantage state. Basically a fancy way of saying, like, hit me with back air instead of like F tilt or whatever. We saw this. I think the best example of this was when I landed with the up air on Corrin and I just completely beat out your F tilt. Yeah, you're in advantage state, but that doesn't mean you necessarily have to keep comboing me. You can use that time to like make sure your own positioning is good. You go for a lot of like high risk, they're high risk, high reward options, and I'm guilty of that too, especially as Roy. But your high risk, high reward options are so bad. Like Bayonetta is not high risk. Bayonetta is almost zero commitment, almost as much as Sonic. So I think if you're playing Bayonetta and you're in like, even if it's a high reward option, the fact that you're taking high risk as Bayonetta is suboptimal almost in itself, and that's why I don't like to play the character as the character or against the character. Number 3, not utilizing all Bayonetta's toolkit in order to kill after racking up percent. So I iterate this again. You do misjudge like risk reward balance a little bit with Mario when you go for once again, I didn't know that you were trying to up air and that it was jump canceled, but still motor skills not being really an excuse. So because it looks that way, you know, and people watching this, that's what they see. So that's really more of an iteration of the second one. I just wanted to call attention to the fact that I think it is more of a problem when you play Bayonetta and not so much as Mario. I think your biggest problem is Mario is the your habit, your over-reliance on shield grab. That's why I break shield a lot against you when I do play Corrin versus your Mario. And I know Denku did it too. Top 3 strengths. Able to successfully edgeguard his opponent with 2 different characters. The edgeguards were pretty ridiculous from you actually in this set. I didn't remember them and I didn't expect to see them. So well done on that. I think you got 3 different edgeguard kills against Corrin and like 1 against Corrin, 2 against Roy, and it's difficult to edgeguard. Like Roy isn't, because a good Roy will know how to recover, and I don't get edgeguard too often as Corrin. Good at escaping and dealing with pressure that comes from beneath him. That was probably what I took away most from the set watching it. I didn't realize how good you were at doing that. trying to rise up from underneath the platform. I only got caught by it twice, but I stopped doing it after the second time because I was getting hit by it, and I didn't remember that. So that's something you definitely want to capitalize on. Also in the witch times, you know, I was always beneath you when I got witch timed. I was always rising and doing an aerial. So number 3 strength, able to adapt in respect to his approach options and neutral tools. Notice note that I said I mean only in neutral. So your punish tools need some work, but in neutral you did vary your approaches to the best of your ability. I don't think I ever really, there wasn't really an instance where I saw your Bayonetta doing, you would do the same ledge get up habits as Bayonetta and the same like neutral tools with Mario as first, but you did seek ways to improve them up until the point where you stopped playing Mario. And with Bayonetta, game 5 is really hard because every time I try and think about the set, I think of game 5 after watching it, and there's not much to go off on there because there was so much just bad play, in my opinion. So those are your top 3 strengths. I'll go over mine now. Top 3 weaknesses. Number 1, overextensions and forcing of offensive situations. I don't like that this is my number 1 weakness, and I have to put it here. This is I gotta tell you my number 2 weakness so I can speak about context with it. So my number 1 weakness, overextensions and forcing of offensive situations. Number 2 is unable to modify and recognize his own habits. I want that to be number 1. Because overextension and forcing of offensive situations is something I've worked for over a year to minimize, and I don't like that they started to come back in this set. And that's why it's really hard for me to watch it, because that's like the thing I focus on the most, is not overextending. It's something that comes out sometimes still, and it's gotta be better on my part. Number 2, unable to modify and recognize his own habits. That's what this is for. I don't watch, like I said, I don't watch myself play a whole lot in this sort of critical manner. I'm not sure if it helps me too much, but I do listen, and I do ask for advice sometimes. I know I have a spot dodging problem. That wasn't a surprise to me. What's a surprise to me is that there was another weakness I found that was greater than that. I thought going into this that would always be my biggest weakness because it is in general in my play style, but it is what it is. And number 3, has trouble switching between main and secondary effectively. I've gotten a little bit better at that. This was at a point in time where like I was considering dropping Corrin. I made that switch because I wanted to see if it was doable. This is a local, so it is a place for me to test things like this. I definitely am not happy with the way my Corrin performed in that game, but I do see now why it didn't perform as well, and I think I am playing a little bit too much Roy sometimes, and I didn't think that would be the issue, but it seems like that might be it. Top 3 strengths. Pressures his opponent with a variety of options and movement and forces them to be uncomfortable. So my strengths are a little hard for me to articulate because I don't really know them. I usually get a lot of them from asking other people, but I definitely did see this one. No matter what happens, and usually I'm usually pretty good about putting pressure on people, especially in the corner. Off stage too in certain instances. I've been trying to not go as crazy off stage because I do kill myself often. But that's probably my biggest strength in this set anyway. Number 2, controls the pacing and momentum of the match even when at a deficit. Now, while this is like the second thing I'm best at, I do think it's actually the most important. Especially since the fact that even though when I'm at a deficit, I was able to control the pace of that match, and that's why a lot of the games are fairly quick. I don't do that well with Corrin though. I can, but only when I'm ahead, because most people can do that. But the games were fast. There was a lot of grounded play. When I did, the only times I'd say I wasn't really controlling it is when I ended up overextending with witch time, but then you get a kill anyway, so I had to come back and like set the pace again. There's not much else to say about that. And number 3, ability to recognize opponents' habits in neutral and take measures to win most neutral exchanges. The only time I really thought that I was losing neutral more than you were, Zaphros, was game 5. every other instance, even so, with your Mario, I was able to win neutral because of your habits, and with your Bayonetta, even though our percents were so skewed, I was winning neutral just as much or more. But that's just the nature of the character, and I understand that. It's not too bad. It's hard for me to talk about my strengths and weaknesses in that sort of way. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Anyway, so that was the set. I will release my notes in the comment section of where I posted the link to this stream and Potsdam Smash 4. For those of you who aren't in that group, I'm sorry. If you want, I guess you could email me if you wanted to see the notes I took. Or just, I don't know, message me on Facebook or whatever. There are ways to get in touch with me if you really want them. But I made good time. I expect this to take a lot longer than an hour and a half. Not much more to say about this. I am still taking requests. Currently my queue is at 0, so the next request I get for a set will be the next one I do. I do repeats. So if you already have been featured on the channel, I will do it again since my queue is empty. The capital region still has not sent me a single set. I'm really disappointed about that. I'll be frank, I guess I just don't value my opinion, which is fine. I don't help me help you, CR, you know. So next set I get, find a way to get in contact with me. We've got stuff posted all over. I will analyze. Sometimes if I disclaimer, sometimes if I don't know your character too well, I will bring in. I am looking to bring in a co-host. But I need a CR set to do that because people around here no one's driving 4 hours from Long Island or whatever to come commentate a set with me. But that's really all there's to say about doing outros. I will see you guys. Oh, one more thing. I am playing tonight at Lucky Strike at Crossgates. It's our third bi-weekly. I got placed third on the last one. Brought my world ranking up a bit. I'm now 401st in the world. So we're going to see what we can do there. Hopefully win some money and get top 3 again. And that will be on twitch.tv/NitoLR if you want to tune into that. Good bi-weekly. Brings in about 30 plus people. Omega Tyrant, Money Mitsu, Grunk, some pretty good players. Zaphros, if you want to watch Money Mitsu's the Bayo I get most of my experience from, I'd suggest checking him out. And that's going to be it for today, guys. See you next time, and keep a reminder to send those requests